If you're looking to do your residency in Germany, or you're already in Germany but looking to switch specialties, then this video is for you. Hey guys, welcome back. If you're seeing me for the first time, hello, my name is Lucinda. I am a medical doctor in internal medicine practicing here in Germany. So a lot of you have been asking what specialties are the most competitive to get into in Germany. Today we'll be talking about those specialties, why they are competitive, and what most people often overlook when choosing them. Are we ready? As usual, let's jump right in. The first on my list, can you guess what it is? I think I need a drum roll for this because it's very competitive to get into. The first on my list is dermatology. Dermatology is one of those specialties that is highly competitive to get in for a couple of reasons. For one, they have not so many spots available yearly, so it's one of those specialties where you see fewer spots and lots of people. And why are lots of people so interested in dermatology? Every specialty has its ups and downs, but dermatology offers a pretty good lifestyle and work-life balance. The schedules are pretty predictable. You have less night shifts, you have less emergencies. This specialty is very attractive, so a lot of people want to get in, but just very few get into this specialty. It's one of the most competitive specialties to get in. I know, it's quite surprising. I was really surprised when I came to Germany and I'm like, what? Dermatology is that hard to get into? Yes, it is. I actually know two people who have tried to get into dermatology. One got in, I think the other one is yet to get in, at least the last I knew. So I had a colleague who, she came to Germany, wanted to practice, but dermatology was taking such a long time to get into, so she eventually got into internal medicine. She did internal medicine, I think, for almost 2 years, but then eventually she was able to get a position, and I was so happy for her. Of the almost 2 years she spent in internal medicine, I think 6 months of the time in internal medicine was recognized. So she didn't have to start all over from the beginning. Even though it took a while, she kept sending applications upon applications, but she later got what she wanted. Next on the list, do we need another drum roll? I don't think so. The next on the list is plastic and aesthetic surgery. My goodness, we all know the world we live in today, and plastic aesthetic surgery has become such a hot cake, and everyone wants a piece of this cake. It's not impossible, but it's very competitive to get into. It's like dermatology as well, where there are very few spots available and lots of people want to get in. And while we are here, can we add neurosurgery to this list? Neurosurgery is highly specialized. Neurosurgery is not easy to get into in Germany. I think it's not just Germany, it's worldwide. Let's move to the next on the list. The next on the list is ophthalmology. My goodness, I know you would ask, why is eye medicine so competitive? Well, it's just the way it is. Also, we have another specialty where you see fewer spots and lots of people wanting to get in. So most of these very competitive specialties we'll be talking about today have very few positions available. That's one of the most reasons why it's very competitive to get into. I think when it comes to ophthalmology, the main competition in ophthalmology is not just getting a residency spot, but getting one that gives you the operating exposure that is needed for this specialty. Can we move on to the next one? The next one is competitive in a very different way. So radiology. Radiology, I think, is one of those specialties where, those who really do not enjoy patient contact on a day-to-day basis would find quite interesting. So a lot of people also compete to get in, especially in the bigger cities. You also have to be very good when it comes to the German language. Your German proficiency has to be very good. Radiologists, I think they have their own language on a serious note. So they're describing everything that has to do with the human body from the head to the toes. So you have to have a very good command of the German language. Ooh, the last but not the least on my list today would be ENT. In German, we say HNO. So ENT is one of those specialties that is also very competitive in Germany. At this point, you sort of have an idea why. So fewer spots again compared to other surgical specialties. I think ENT is one of those specialties that has a pretty predictable lifestyle, fewer night shifts, the work-life balance is quite predictable, and this makes it attractive long term. So here's something I want you to know. When it comes to competition in Germany, it's usually regional and not national. So two equally qualified doctors could have completely different experiences and different outcomes just based on their location and the timing. And something most people rarely talk about is the fact that competition in Germany is not about who is the smartest in the room. It's more about the amount of available spots, location, timing, whether the department actually needs you right now or not. Before choosing a specialty, here are some very important questions I would like you to ask. Rather than just, is it competitive? You should also ask yourself, what am I competing for and at what cost? Because I'm going to be very honest, certain specialties will cost you your health, will cost you a lot before it rewards you. So that's something to put into consideration. And if you're choosing a specialty, please choose something that you have an interest in, because I think life on its own sometimes is already stressful enough. So adding something you totally hate or you have no interest in just makes the work even harder than it already is. And I would say a very big respect to those who start off with one specialty and then they realize, oh, this isn't for me, and they have the courage, you know, to say, okay, I'm leaving this to do something else or to move into a different specialty. Because I think it takes a lot of courage. Sometimes most people start and they're like, I've already spent 2 years, I've already spent 3 years, so I don't think it's wise to start all over. But there are certain people who find out that, oh, long term, I don't think I would be able to do this, and you know, they pick themselves back up. Time would go anyway, and then they start from a different angle, or they just transfer to something more interesting for them. So when picking a specialty, please put these things into consideration. Before we go to our question or comment of the day, if you haven't subscribed, I am asking myself, what have I done wrong? Have I said anything wrong, or why are you not subscribing? Please do well to subscribe. Like I said in the previous video, I would try to address a comment or a question from every video in the next video. So here's our question for the day. This is from someone called Ifani Energy. I don't know if I pronounced that well, but the first name is correct, Ifani. So he says, please, how difficult is it getting into radiology? Are there compulsory steps to be taken in order to be admitted into radiology residency? Like I already said, radiology is quite competitive to get into, but if you're geographically flexible, I would recommend starting off in smaller cities, and then later on, with time, with experience, you can then progress to those cities that are already, you know, competitive, the bigger cities, for example. Another thing would be hospitation and practical year. Most of these specialties, the people who get into them are those who have done their practical year, done some kind of internship, you know, and have made a very good impression. They've networked and connected with whoever their mentors were. So it becomes easier, you know, when you're ready and then you come back and say, oh, I'm ready to get in. Do you have a position for me? They are more open to hire those who they already trust. So that's something I would also recommend, doing hospitations in clinics where you want to work, doing like an internship in one of these clinics, and then just leaving a very, very good impression. Put your best foot forward. For radiology, communication skills, like I said, is very, very important. So if you're able to work on that, you would have a very, very high chance. Those are some tips I can give for getting into very competitive specialties. I wish you all the very best, and if you haven't subscribed at this point, I am saying why. So please do well to subscribe, like, share, comment, I would like to know, what specialty are you doing, or what specialty are you looking to do and why? In the next video, I'll be talking about the easiest specialties to get into in Germany. I will see you in the next one, and as usual, take care of yourselves. Bye.